the Chess Classic Super Bet, and now we're going to see a couple of games. We're going to be discussing them as they play. Okay, first let me check if the sound is okay here, and if on a restream we've got all things in order. Let me just have a look here. I'm streaming at the minute. Okay, so let me just check this channels here. So that should be fine on Facebook, should be fine on YouTube, on Twitch. Sorry, what do you want, man? No, I'm sorry. Give me some time. I'm streaming live. Right. Okay. All right. Let me put this on. Okay, we'll be back in a second. Let's just turn off. I don't need the sound here in order to make in some comments here. Okay, I really don't need the sound. And let me toggle off the lines and the feedback as well, because I'd like to just think for ourselves. And okay, we'll be back in a second. Let me just check that thing over there. Okay. All right. So here we are. Right. So now we are seeing the game played in between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and the current world champion, Ding Liren. Well, as long as the sound is off, I think I'm very happy with. Okay, cool stuff. So the engine tells us that it's perfectly equal now. That's the move that he played, move 15. So we're still sort of like in the opening stage, we might be saying that. But as long as they take their time to think, that means that they already contriving some middle game tactics and possibly novelties. So we're gonna see what's going on. Whose turn is now? Ding Liren's turn to play. Okay, looks to me that I would love to get the rook on the same file with the black queen, in principle, unless there's something else I'm not aware of at the minute. Okay. So black's last move was h6. Okay, what is white planning on doing now, I wonder? Right, so any ideas, guys? You're more than welcome to voice your opinions on this ones and tell me what do you think should be black's approach here, white's ideas. As a general thing, I also wonder if we could counteract that bishop on b7 or something like bishop f3, but gotta be careful about this kind of things if bishop moves away. Although this thing has to be solved first, right? So we're still discussing this. We're still in the process of seeing what's going on. So Ding's turn to play. What is he gonna do? So candidate moves. Let's make some suggestions here for candidate moves. That would be one, I guess. What about b4? So I'm just thinking now. b4. Ding takes its time. You know, he really wants to think it through and do the right decision here. So that will be a very interesting match to see. So rook d1, b4, candidate moves, guys. If you have any other suggestions, tell me about. And let's see what's gonna happen. Let's see what's gonna happen here. So these are the ideas that I'm thinking about white here to happen. he hasn't moved yet. Probably we should go and have a look at some other games that they play at the minute now. Ian plays Richard Report, so probably we should have a quick look at that one as well. I really want to see that. Games. Okay. This one here. Ian Pomnichi versus Richard Report. That's another game we could look at. F3 was the last move that was played. It looks to me that you really want to take this from the Black Knight, so that the Black Knight will not be able to be playing either on E4 or G4. At the first glance, that might be the case. I guess because the queens, I don't know when, but the queens came off the board now, you could just simply play rooks, AD, rooks H, I guess H to E. Some other ideas might be this kind of knight to c5. So now I'm just looking at potential stuff to be played here by white. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. This probably. Is black gonna castle? And if yes, where? Is black gonna castle short? Is black gonna castle long? Castling long looks like has the quality also of defending b7 if there is a knight on c5 to be played. Probably. Whereas if you castle short, probably after a move like knight c5, you still need to think about those two squares. So these are potential ideas. And now the engine says like a plus 0.58 as of now. Okay, so Richard played knight e5. Knight e5. I reckon the black knight Richard has just played intends to go to c4, right? I mean, that might be one way to put it. Probably. That would be a check. Will that force white to trade? Kind of, yeah, because b2 is under attack and king is in check. And if you don't and retreat the king, you suddenly stop the rooks from moving on the first rank. So you are blocking them. So I suspect if Richard goes to c4, Ian sort of has to capture. And then after pawn takes, you could do knight to c5. Attacking bishop and pawn on b7. So these are the ideas I'm thinking of myself. And then, you know, we're about to see what we do, what Ian is going to do with the rooks. Probably rook e1, rook h to e, and the other rook on d. So potentially, this bishop going to take on c4 if black knight goes. And when pawn recaptures knight to c5, so depends how the game evolves, but as a potential evolution, that might be happening. This knight is quite strong. I like the knight on d4 because he can't be attacked by any black pawn. So that's quite a nice knight here, right here in the middle. Nice centralized white knight. That's looking good, I guess. Black still to decide where to castle, how to do that. Where exactly? So that's a nice game in between Yanni Pomnici and Richard Report. Okay, cool stuff. So hi there, friends. You're welcome at any time to voice your opinions on the possible candidate moves preferred by one or the other of the two players. So it's a very strong chess classic happening in Romania. I wonder if it's Bucharest. Are they playing? So amongst others, so we've got, oops, let me just put, right, so we've got Dingleren, the current world champion, playing Maxime Lagrave, Fabiano Caruana playing Daniel Bogdan Deac, Romanian GM, very strong Romanian GM. Richard Report representing Romania, I think, with black versus Ian. Anish Giri, Netherlands versus Jan Krzysztof, presenting Poland. Ali Reza representing France versus Wesley So playing for the United States. So these are the contenders, these are the players. Super strong games now. Just very briefly looking at the eval bar, just a bit of an advantage for White against Anish. Equal Alireza Wesley, and yeah, most of them are equal. You wouldn't expect any less. Maybe a bit more of an advantage for White here for Jan Nepomniachtchi. Because I would say due to a positional advantage here for White. Exactly as we said. I've said it before. Rook H to E1 is one potential move for White that will happen. And indeed happen. That's exactly what happened. I mean, these are logical, sensical moves, so I guess many other observers and witnesses would have recommended Rook to E1 as well. Because the Black King is here and they haven't castled yet, so always a good stuff to get the rooks on the open files or semi-open files. So now I guess the other rook wants to come to D and probably king to C1. Okay, so castle long, exactly. We've said that one too. Castle long for black, which I think they need to use another tempo, get a king on the B if they want to get a rook. Doing things like this, probably they need to move the king one more time. Knight to C5. Yeah, we've mentioned that idea as well. Knight to C5. Attacking bishop and a bit of pawn on B7. Not bad moves, very good, and I'm happy we're actually able to see that. I don't think knight on C4 would be too much of a problem here because we can always take it back. I wonder if Ian plans on trading the bishop on D7. Now, the bishop on D7 now, where do they need to move, I wonder? Does the bishop need to move? I mean, where else do you want to get a bishop? Bishop C6? Just wondering now. Thinking out loud. So, I mean, I'm just voicing the ideas that cross my mind now. Looking at them. Okay. Right, so that could be maybe. Although it feels like a bit of a tempo loss here because the bishop is targeted anyway. Now the question is if you want to trade on D7 or you want to trade on C6, and if you do, you plan on taking it back with the pawn or with the knight. Okay, these are tactical approaches. I don't think bishop c6 because white's going to be tempted to take and black needs to take with the knight, because if they take with the pawn there could be some checks with the bishop on e2. So probably from this point of view, perhaps, only perhaps, black won't be enticed very much to do bishop c6. Yeah, not an easy game. A bit plus 0.63. Okay, a bit advantageous slightly for white here because of the initiative, because of the attacking momentum here. It's more attacking now for white. So let's go see some other games. Oopsie daisy, what did I do? I think I went 2 clicks back. So let's go back to the championship. I think I gotta go to watch, and this one here, Superbet Chess Classic, and the games button. Come on. Okay, let's see what Liren does versus Maxime Lagrave. Did he move? No, he didn't. Ding Liren really takes its time. I mean, I think like 10 minutes ago he was still thinking after h6 being played by black. So MVL played h6 and Ding Liren still thinks about a move to play. He didn't take a decision yet. He didn't decide what to do. Yeah, it is an important moment now. It is. What is he gonna play? Is he gonna play b4? Is he gonna play rook fd1? Or something else? What do you think, guys? What do you think White's best bet is here? What is White's best reply, or at least what's the candidate moves, or what are the moves that White can contemplate playing here? You think, guys? I would like to have that knight on c5 sent away somewhere. I think b4 comes with a bit of a setback, I guess. Okay, so if we think about b4, they might be doing this simply, just an idea. Challenging your knight and the bishop attacking on b4. So if I'm to just thinking right now spontaneously, we're looking at this. b4, knight e4, knight takes, knight takes. You still got an issue with this pawn. And you also got to be careful about a potential knight on d2. So whatever you play, you must be very careful. So probably Ding needs to take his time because of these ideas. So you got to play carefully here, of course, like in any other moment in the game evolution. You got to do it very carefully. Okay, what the heck is this loading here, this thing here? Well, I don't care. Okay, I can even close that thing. All right. Right, so I toggle off the lines here. We only have the eval bar, so the eval bar will be notifying us if there is something funky going on, or some mistakes, some errors. Right, so Ding Liren really takes his time. He really thinks about it. And it's not an easy moment now. Actually, in retrospect, in hindsight, I don't think b4 might be very, very wise. It's like creating a bit of weakness here. I hate having a pawn on b4 attacked by the bishop and having a black knight looming dangerously, controlling the d2 and threatening forks and stuff. So probably we got to be careful about that one. And even if I think about something like knight c4, we're always having this thing. And again, if this knight goes away, the b3 is in danger because a black knight would take suddenly forks queen and rook. So that's quite a sensible critical position. Frankly, I think I'm gonna rook c1. He had just played now, ladies and gents. Ding Liren just played rook to c1. Rook to c1, which very simply being put, wants to give a rook for two minor pieces here on c5. So what it means direct attack on the knight. So if we said previously that b4 might be playable, actually it's not that great because it just creates some weaknesses. So now Ding opted for rook f to c. So rook on the f column didn't do nothing. So you got to get the rook a bit more active. I think it's a very nice move. And attacks the knight and threatens to take rook for two minor pieces. It's gloriously positive for white, for Ding Liren. And I don't think Maxim MVL will allow this to happen. So he either defends here. Well, I don't know exactly how. We can think about this one together and discuss it eventually. So he either defends the knight on c5 or he moves the knight from c5 to e4 perhaps. Just saying, I mean, it could be. It could be. Again, if you want to trade the rook for two minor pieces, this is very good stuff. Totally. If they want to do that. I don't think there's anything wrong. But MVL, as I said, I don't think MVL is going to allow this to happen. Actually, because it's losing. If at this stage now you trade the knight and the bishop for a rook, you're going to lose. you're definitely gonna lose. So he can't allow that. So let's see, what is MVL gonna do? Rook, queen, knight, e4, the other knight. I mean, I already underlined 4 possible candidate moves. Just briefly put, I don't think I've covered all of them. And so candidate moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there anything else? Queen b6, I think, is a non-starter. I think might be a non-starter, queen b6, because of this kind of ideas. So queen b6, I'd like to have it eliminated. If I were to play with black, probably I would discard queen b6 immediately. I would be focusing on either rook to c8, knight on e4, or knight f6, d7. So that's the candidate moves that I'm thinking of right now, guys. I don't know what you personally consider here for black, for MVL to play, but that's what I'm thinking of. And you know something, we're gonna make this little game now. We're gonna make a suggestion for some candidate moves, and then we're gonna toggle on the engine lines and see if we manage to hit one of the engine's lines. Let's see if we actually manage to sort of think as accurately as a computer, at least for some of the lines. Let's see. The moment of truth now, the moment of revelation. Rook c8, there you go, rook c8, and knight fe4. I think I declare myself quite satisfied with my approximations, with my evaluations, because I've seen them both, and rook c8 was my first intention as well. And the engine actually confirms, rook c8 or knight fe4. I don't know what the engine thinks about knight fd7, but knight e4 is definitely the move I've highlighted with the yellow arrows right here, right now on the screen, my chess friends. So I got this one correctly. And I would invite you guys to do this kind of anticipation games yourselves when you are witnessing somebody else's games, especially if it's Super GMs, if it's Grandmasters. I think it's very useful exercise here to always try and force your thinking to play as accurately as an engine and see if you can anticipate the moves that the engine is going to play. And if you manage to do so, I think it's very good. You know, if most of the anticipation you're giving are overlapping with the computer suggestions, I think that's a very good sign you're on the right track. And actually you're able to identify, to recognize the correct move to be played. That's awesome stuff. Now, MVL needs to take a little bit of his time. Now, Ding Liren is on 46 minutes. MVL 1 hour 20 minutes. Well, 1 hour 18. So he's still thinking. And personally, I think I'm going to go do a cup of tea for myself or a cup of coffee. And I'll be back with some more ideas discussing together here, guys. Okay, let me check some other stuff here. I think that goes just fine. What about the other restreaming? Let me just have a, yeah, 5 of 5 active. Yeah, I don't see any issue with anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that looks okay. Okay, cool stuff. Yeah, I'll definitely go for a cup of coffee very shortly. I think I should be going right now. Whilst MVL still thinking. So guys, don't go anywhere. I'll be returning. Go get a cup of coffee myself, and we'll be back for more possible ideas happening here. So stay where you are, guys, or go yourselves for a cup of coffee. Okay, so we're back now. Very well. Okie dokie. Where were we? Has he moved? Has MVL played? He hasn't. He hasn't yet. He hasn't moved yet. So let's go to some other game. Anish Giri versus Jan Krzysztof. Nice position here. It is Anish's turn. Wow, what a position. Dude, that looks intriguing. Okay, let me left click on this game. Let me left click here because that looks very, very intriguing here. Sorry, I mean I've just noticed that actually what a black queen can't really take because of the bishop. And pawn can't really take because of the rook. Yeah, there is something interesting here with this though. So guys, I think that's the most tense game actually. The eval bar shows a plus 0.19. This is a critical moment here because very many things. Oh my god, what a tactical position. This is a nightmare, guys. Yo, the knight is hanging. That's for one. The knight on c3 is being threatened by bishop and queen. I think that's the most fascinating game in all the 5 games that are happening right now. I mean, look at this mess. Look at this mess. If it's a check, and you think of taking with the pawn, then we've got queen c3. And if you block with the bishop, then queen just takes in a corner, right? Oh my god, this is an absolute mess. And if you block again, I suspect then queen can just go back and take on e5. This is madness. But then again, you've got this kind of stuff here. After queen takes on e5, you've got a pawn b7 threatening the rook. And you can't take the pawn. And you can't move the rook. That means that they're going to take. I mean, this is nuts. Okay, if bishop takes, you could probably just move king f2. But I think that just loses immediately. This is crazy. This is probably, guys, this game now between Krzysztof and Anish Giri, I think that's the most exciting game. From a tactical point of view, this is crazy tactics here. So that's a let's put it this way, this is a 2700 puzzle. Look at it as a puzzle. You know, if you manage to regard this as a puzzle, good luck with solving it here. What should black play? The eval bar gives us a plus 0.19, which is fairly equal, but what do you think black should be playing here? Wow. Okay. Okay. Phew. Oh, definitely black needs to take his time. So he took on c3. Makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense to take on c3. And the big question is, gee, what is Duda gonna do? Jesus, the white king is checked right now. Oh my days. Crazy. This is a crazy tactical position. How many pieces are on pre here? Queen, bishop, knight. Ugh, takes. Is Anish going to play queen c3? I mean, queen is targeted anyway by the pawn. So if you want to look at this Queen c3, we said that too. Is Duda gonna do exactly king f2? That's exactly right. Oh my Jesus. What is he gonna do now? Queen takes? Or is he gonna address first this this thing like a6 first or something? Is it? No, he took. Oh boy, is b7 coming? Exactly. We had anticipated all this sequence. b7. What? Queen takes c5? Queen takes c5. b7 takes a8. And then what? Knight c6? Is that doable? Jesus, this is nuts. This is absolutely crazy. What is black gonna play here? Oh my god, what a position. Gee, what a position. Yeah, the engine says plus 0.17, but believe me, from a human, this is madness. And this is incredibly messy here. Oh, wow. Whew. Okay, so rook can't really be saved here. Rook can't be saved. The black rook in the corner cannot be saved. And you can't jump in with the bishop because you got a pawn here, so you can't do this. What you could do is just take on e5, I reckon. Take on e5. Take on e5, pawn takes queen. There you go. And then what do? You do knight c6? I mean, what else? Hitting the queen, defending the pawn with the knight. No, I don't think you can do that. This is nonsense. The queen's going to take. You're actually going to lose pieces, and obviously you're going to lose the game. But where does the knight go? Does the knight go on d7? No, you can't. The rook is hanging. This is crazy. Queen takes, pawn takes. There you go. Wow, what a crazy tactic middle game here. Right, so actually he came up with a different idea here, Anish Giri. He played knight b8 to d7. So if white's gonna take, the other rook's gonna take it back. That's it. And then a very nice find actually. And then I think Anish wants to come down with this pawn. Yeah, so now Anish, yeah, exactly. Rook takes, and I don't know if white wants to trade here, but if you look at the pieces, black is having 3 minus rook and queen, 3 minus rook and queen. Okay, but okay, although the material is perfectly equal, guys, I think what it's very important here is that black has a free pawn here. So that's what exactly Anish is going to do. He's going to push that pawn forwards for a possible promotion. I mean, that's the plan, I guess. That's the plan. He took. Okay, he wants to simplify it now. He wants to preserve the bishop's pair. So okay. Traditionally, the bishop pair is stronger than bishop and knight. So he wants to get into a more manageable, more controllable position. So for this reason, probably he traded on d7. So he ends up having bishop pair versing knight and bishop. Now Anish, on the other hand, is boasting a pawn on a7, and that pawn is incredibly important. Now, probably you notice, guys, that white Duda needs to find some way to get that bishop somehow in the game active, because the rook does not exist. And I'm going to tell you something. Anish is going to push the pawn on the a file down the board. That's what Anish is going to do. Absolutely. That's exactly what's going to do. Right, so he took. Actually, let me do something interesting here. So you're watching this, guys, right? Okay. Let me see if I can send another. link here. Just give me a second. So, can I just like do this one? Okay, let's see if that works. And let me see if that works. Okay. And if that works as well. Okay. So Krzysztof Duda now needs to get a bishop out somehow in the game so that the rook becomes active. How exactly? Well, that's the big question. Because probably that's what he thinks about right now. Okay. Also, I'm thinking about, okay, from Black's perspective, I think Duda needs to take care of a possible Rook C8, Bishop C4 ideas, type of ideas. Okay. I think he would be more than happy to trade, obviously. I mean, White would be very happy to trade, because if this were to happen, if Black Queen were to take the White Queen, then the bishop takes, and actually you free up your own rook, so the rook becomes playable, so you could use that rook to do something actually, because currently it doesn't do anything. So you either take the White Queen or you move the Black Queen away, because the Black Queen has to do something. I don't know, is he thinking about giving some checks? Is that even, can that be considered? Play something like Queen B2 check, King's gonna have to go. Okay, maybe. Will that help White or Black? If Queen B2 were to be played, you would check the King with tempo, that's for sure. Now, obviously, White could do a couple of things. Bishop B2, King G3, which one's gonna be? On the other hand, you avoid to trade the queen. The pawn is defended by the rook currently, and queen on B2 prevents the white queen to play on B7, attacking the rook. So if you want to look at it this way, and queen on B2 would check the king with tempo. So if you want to look at this idea, I don't know if it's the most solid one, but it's a thought. Other than that, you go for tradings now. Bishop takes, sorry, queen takes queen, bishop takes queen. And then obviously the rook's gonna come out and things like that. And probably bishop b7, rook has to move, and then you're gonna take on a7. And yeah, okay. Probably that's the reason the engine says a almost even. Almost even. So if you don't want to do the queen straight, probably you gotta go for ideas like queen b2, even queen a2. Queen a2. Check. I mean, you want them to take so you can take, so white needs to spend another time to get a bishop out and then the rook implicitly. So you want to delay with black here. So black wants to delay white's development. So how do you achieve that? Wait, queen b2 or queen a2? Right? Well, I haven't covered all the possibilities, obviously. So these are the ideas. Queen takes, queen b2, queen a2. If you have some other candidate moves, guys, let me know. But that's what I personally think about here. And you know, I'm going to do that little game again. I'm gonna toggle on the engines lines and see if I'm correct or not. Bloody hell, queen b1. Queen b1. Yeah, queen b... Okay, I get it. Queen b1. You don't check the king, but you stifle white's development with queen b1. Queen d1 as well. Huh. Queen d1 is a very deep stuff here. I guess queen b1 is more approachable for a human. Makes sense. none of my three ideas have been proposed by this supercomputer, so I guess queen b1 is better than any of my three ideas. Okay. Again, taking the white queen on a6 probably plays very well for helping white. So probably Anish gonna avoid playing that. He's probably gonna avoid it. He's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it, I guess. Okay, let's have a quick look at Ding Liren's game. Oh boy. What? B4 has been played. Let me just toggle off things here. B4 has been played. So, okay, Rook C8 exactly as we said. I think I said about Rook C8 and Maxime MVL actually played it. And B4 now. Attacking this guy, which needs to go. Now he needs to play. So you've got two options here. You've got either this or that, right? Can't be anything else. Now the question would be, after a move, let's just say after a move like knight c5, d7, let's just say knight c5, d7, right? What are you gonna do with b4? You're gonna play what? Bishop c3? Okay, so he just played right now knight cd, knight c5 to d7, moving to safety from the pawn that was attacking the knight. What is white going to do in regards with b4 pawn? Because now that become a weakness. Look. What are you going to do with b4? You're going to trade first? No, I don't think so. You're going to play bishop c3, bishop a3. What are you going to play? Is there any other way to... Okay, so he trades off... Okay, we said that. He trades off the rooks. Okay. What are you going to play here? With white, I mean. What is Ding going to do? Is he going to do what? Bishop c3. Bishop takes a6. Okay. Huh. Right, if bishop would take on b4, you can take on tempo, the bishop first. That's for one. And after queen takes, you could even play rook to b5 afterwards, because rook is defended by the knight attacking the queen and the bishop, and I think that would be a super blunder for black to do, if I am correct and accurate in my evaluation here. If I don't, that is, if I don't misevaluate. So, bishop b4 looks like a super blunder following bishop takes b7 attacking queen, because if queen takes rook b5 hitting both queen and the bishop on b4, is that true? Is that objectively true? That's a good question. That's a good question. Very nice, very tactical, very nice game. I think I like very much this one and Ding Liren's Anish's game versus Duda. I think that's so exciting. All right. Bishop took a6. Okay, good stuff. He's having 5 white pawns versus 4. He nicked the pawn. He nibbled the pawn from black here. What is MVL gonna do? I don't think you can afford with black to take on b4 for the reasons we've explained, unless I'm missing something. I didn't put any engineering nothing. I don't know what black should be playing here, actually. Probably he should be taken on a6, I guess. You gotta take on a6 first, rook take, and then... Yeah, and then... To which probably white's gonna play something like this, knight d to f. Just trying to approximate now. I mean, what else can you do here? Yeah, what else can you do? So I'm looking at bishop... Yeah, exactly. I'm happy I've anticipated it. I didn't put any engine. I just said that, yes, exactly. So bishop took a6, rook takes a6, and now I think black can think exactly right. And now if I'm correct again, that means I'm on the right way. Or knight d2 to f3, that makes a lot of sense. Knight d2 to f3, move the knight away from the attack, reinforcing the guy in the center, and I think it's very, very much playable nicely. Very nice little tactic here by Ding Liren. He plays very aggressively, whereas my line was pure defensive reaction. Now that's a proper response from Ding Liren, current world champion. Yeah, I didn't even think about continuing a possible aggressive line. I was thinking about knight df3. Let me just go back and ask the engine if my suggestion is even considered by the engine. It freaking is. Actually, it's the first one. No. No. I meant knight d2 to f3, whereas the engine said knight from the fourth, knight d4 to f3. And knight c6 is the second line, actually. Okay. No, I didn't propose the knight. Yeah, I just played too defensively, I guess. Knight c6 even better. I mean, it has a psychological impact. It's psychologically charged here because it attacks the bishop. And also, black needs to be careful about that fork. Very dangerous. So, nice one psychologically. Psychologically speaking, that's a nice one. So, yeah. Absolutely. What is he going to play? Very nice. Very nice way to continue. Now, MVL has gotten like 17, 19 more minutes. So, I mean, he could just think about 19 minutes, you know, for choosing the right way to play. He moved the queen away from the fork. The bishop is defended. And he made some space for the black rook on f8 to go somewhere more meaningful. So, the move that he played, no wonder these guys are super grandmasters. Played very accurately, very nice. Queen to b7, and he made space for the rook on f8 to go somewhere to attack something and activating more of your pieces. Now, Ding needs to decide in regards to the knight on d2. Obviously, you got to do something with that knight. Where are you going to go? Where is the knight going to go? Is the question here. Where are you going to go? Knight c4? Where else can you go? Is there any other attacking ideas? Like, should you take this and then playing this? Maybe. If you want to look at the aggressive potential of this position now, tactically speaking, probably knight b4. It's forces black queen to take on b4 and then bishop c3. I mean, quite aggressive, right? And then, what did he do? He took on f6? He took on f6. Okay. That's a surprising one. Bishop takes f6. So we're going towards a draw now. If we keep trading those pieces, we go towards a draw now. What is black going to respond? Well, I think you want to take with the knight, right? Or you can take with the pawn. Okay. Probably is going to take with the knight. Yeah, he took with the knight. Okay. Now, if knight takes the bishop and queen takes, then you need to do something with this knight. And where are you going to go? You're going to go f3. Then really getting towards a draw. Alright, so that's exactly what it does. So Ding took on b4, queen takes b4, and knight d2 to f3. That's exactly right. I mean, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So I don't think Well, I'm happy I managed to anticipate a few lines that these guys are choosing to play as soon as I'm voicing the ideas. Now that's an interesting take. Now that's an interesting move. I didn't even consider for a second that the white knight can play actually on f1. Really? Really? Knight f1? On the back rank? Why? Why? Okay, it's getting a draw now. It's getting a draw. Okay, we're going to a draw. I think they will draw any moment now. That's it. It's written draw all over it, boys and girls. This is it. Queen takes, king takes. Come on, this is a draw. Let's shake hands and fight another day. That's it. They're not gonna play. What? Two super GMs with 4 pawns and 2 knights? They're gonna keep playing here? Come on, this is a draw. What do you want to do? Well, there's always the possibility for someone to make a blunder. I mean, sure. But, okay, the knight can probably fork at some point, pawns or king and pawn or something, but they have lots of time to think about. Okay, I think I'm gonna switch the game now because there's nothing here. They should draw. Yeah, there's just nothing here. The engine gives an adamant 0.00 here, so that's okay. We've got another check coming, which has been just demoted now with king e3. Exact, king e3, king f2. What? So if they do again, they're gonna play. Right, that's a draw, boys and girls. MVL just plays for a draw, and Ding Liren's gonna repeat that, I guess, unless MVL chooses otherwise. Now it's gonna be a draw. He's gonna drop the king back on f2 and draw by threefold repetition. Threefold repetition draw. Yeah. Draw. That was it. That was it. Let's go to the game. What other games are in progress here? Oh boy, oh man, the Anish Giri really takes his time. Dude, look at this. Okay, let me see quickly the Ian and Richard report because that's another very interesting one. Very, very, very unusual. I mean, look at the White King right in the middle of the board. Move number 19 and the White King is on d4. This is slightly unthinkable. I mean, if you tell the guy that your king would be on this e4 square on move 19, what are the odds to having a white king on d4 move 19, two super GM facing one another? Wow. Wow. Boy, oh boy. Okay, so the idea is if Richard would, I don't think he will though. I don't think he will. If Black would play something like b7 to b6, that would be quite dangerous because of the bishop a6 check ideas. So you've got to tread carefully about pushing the b pawn. So he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. But probably we're going to end up in a draw if they keep trading pieces. It's not finished yet, but, queens are gone. 6 white pawns versus 6 black pawns. If we keep trading now, that will be another draw. So let me go to Krzysztof Duda and Anish Giri. What a beautiful, what a treat, what a treat. Krzysztof Duda now with white. Queen b1. Man, Anish, I think, took like 15 minutes and he played a computer-like move. He played an engine move. He refused to trade the queens, obviously stifling white's development of the bishop now. So the bishop can't really move. So you don't want to trade. And also queen to b file, as we've explained. does not allow the white queen to play something like queen b7 attacking the rook. So that's a very nice find here by Anish Giri. Very nice find. Really, really so nice find. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Oh boy, nice one. Jan Krzysztof's, oh, rook g1, very nice. Now, what Duda does is he frees up the rook. So, I mean, he can play the bishop, so to speak. He can play the bishop, and the rook will be attacking the black queen with tempo. There you go. What can Anish Giri do, though, is to probably check the king right now, moving the queen, I don't know, c2, b2. Is that even considerable? I'm not sure. He's probably going to give it some thought. He's going to think about this position now, and if he's going to do this or not. Oh yeah. What is he going to do? What is Anish Giri going to do here? Is he going to check the king? Or the queen? Because as sure as hell, something like this, it might be happening very, very, very soon. So you got to tread very carefully here. That's a good question. Is there any virtue to be playing queen a2, queen takes, bishop takes? Is it? I mean, the only stuff good for black here would be the fact that the pawn on a7 is a free pawn ready to advance. I mean, that's the only stuff that allows black to just keep playing and hoping and stuff. From white's perspective, the bishop's pair is quite menacing, is quite dangerous. So that's the compensation. Black is having one pawn on a7, a free pawn, so to speak, and white is having the pair of bishops. So that's the compensation for the free pawn that black boasts on a7. So hi there, my friends. What's that? So let me say hello to our Twitch friend. You're not related to Soren? Not that I'm aware of. No. No. Okay. Okie dokie. So that's Anish. That takes his time again. Probably he thinks about a way to continue, and maybe he wonders how on earth can he get this pawn moving. Now, if you want to get the pawn on a7 moving, you need to get rid of the white queen. And if you want to get rid of the white queen, you can do this by trading with queen a2. But, okay, that's not enough to guarantee a superior position or a guaranteed victory. But, I mean, what else? Maybe. Maybe. Tough one. Tough one. So, although the engine says that the current position we're seeing, my chess friends, is actually a draw, from a human approach, it's not that easy. It's still some moves to be played here. You can't just dismiss it as a draw. The previous one that we've seen with Dingley Ren and MVL was a draw. With 4 pawns and knight versus 4 pawns and knight, that's a draw. That's a draw. Some of them are more exciting than others, Caruso. Richard's report plays a very interesting one right now. Let me go back to that game. So Anish Giri here with the Krzysztof Dura, they had a very promising tactical position at some point. So I like that. But now it tends to becoming drawish. This thing with Jan Nepomniachtchi and Richard's report is also a very interesting one. Unusual for move 19 to having the white king on d4 square. Go figure, look at this. So Richard couldn't have possibly pushed the b because of the possible checks with the bishop on a6. So, but that looks also kind of like drawish again. So, okay. If the queens came off the board now, I think the kings can allow the luxury to go in the center of the board. And there is another thing, my chess friends. There is no dark square bishop to attack the white king on d4. And there is no queen. So if you want to put it this way, it's pretty much safe. And it's not just that it's safe, but the white king itself prevents the black pawn on d5 to coming down the board, so to speak, thus opening the bishop's diagonal. So the king on d4 is actually doing an active job here. No dark square bishop and no queen, so can't really be checked so easily. We've got a pawn here, we've got a knight, so there is no rook coming to check the king. And if there's anything funky, you can always play bishop to d3, facilitating rooks trading, you know, one after another. So, okay. Looks like increasingly does look now, tends to be looking like a draw. This one as well. If you want to do some candidate moves anticipation, oh yeah, mighty king walk. Yeah, I like that. I like that expression, Caruso. Very poetical license. I like the poetical licenses, so yes. Mighty king walk. Nice find. Nice find, Caruso. Yeah. And look at the Valbar plus 0.31. So virtually draw. You can't force things very much here. I can't see any practical way for white, for Jan Nepomniachtchi, to forcing something. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to do what? G4, H4? What are you going to play exactly? I assume the white king needs to stay on d4 for the time being. There is no conceivable danger in the near future here. So the king can stay where they are. And other than that, you're going to play like what? Bishop d3, and that's a status quo. I mean, okay, you're going to have a possible check, king goes, and I still can't find any winnable, conceivable scenario here for neither white nor black. I can't see any. So probably they will be drawing unless someone is making a super blunder, which I kind of doubt, because they got a ton of time on their clocks now. So I don't think they're going to be any big blunder here. They're going to be drawing this, guys. I don't know what's your opinion on this, guys, but I think they're going to be drawing. So that being Jan Nepomniachtchi versus Richard Report, let's go to another one. Let's see this one. Fabiano Caruana versus Bogdan Dak. Okay, let's have a look here. The engine gives a meager plus 0.04. A very meager advantage for Fabi here. But again, I guess now Bogdan needs to think what to do with the knight and then doing something with this guy. I mean, the knight has to go somewhere somehow. I haven't followed this game closely because I was lost in the other game's ideas. I haven't watched this game in particular. So I don't know the evolution of this one, but knight h5 was the last move played by Bogdan here. What might be the intention here, I wonder? What does Bogdan want to do here? Is he planning on f5? Why do you move the knight? I guess he came with the knight from f6 to h5. Really? What does he want to do? I mean, does he want to tempt the white to push? Well, obviously he's not going to push. Because if he's going to do that, Black Knight is going to find an excellent outpost on f4. So I don't think Fabi is going to push, right? Okay. Now, the problem is Fabi is having like 53 minutes, whereas Bogdan is on 34. So time-wise, Fabi is doing slightly better. Okay, this game is to be disputed. It's still on the game. Krzysztof do the, oh boy, Anish Giri really takes his time. I mean, like 10 minutes ago, when I left this game going for the other games, Rook G1 is being played, and Anish Giri really fought, I think, for like 10 minutes or more. Again, he's looking for ways to... I mean, you actually need to find a good spot for the Black Queen, because the Black Queen is going to be attacked as soon as White plays the bishop on f1. I just give an example, maybe b5, just give an example. It could be d3, b5, and possibly others. But when White moves the bishop, then actually the rook attacks the queen. So, yeah, he's thinking about how to proceed with that. You sort of want to keep the Black Queen on the b file because you want to stop the queen from attacking the Black Rook in a corner. So where is he going to go? Is he going to go b2? I don't know. And probably he's not very, very convinced himself now, because he's looking for actually a way to continue here. So he's still debating with himself about what to play. If you got any candidate moves, guys, you're more than free to suggest another drawish game. Yeah, well, we know that Anish, tends to probably draw if the position is not crushingly superior in his favor, or if he doesn't see a clear way for winning, probably is going to draw. Well, that's the wisest thing to do, I guess. I mean, you don't want to lose. First thing, you don't want to lose the game. That's for sure. Now, if you can win it, win it. But if you can't see a clear path, just go for the draw. And that's a single round robin, so they will be playing the same person once. So everyone's going to play every other player but once, right? That's what it means. They're going to play just once the other guy. And they're going to play, like other players. I mean, all of them. All of them going to play every other player once. So that one also smells quite drawish here, unless there is a blunder happening. Now, at this level, you would say the Super GMs won't be blunder. Well, they might do blunder if they go under a minute. As we've seen in the recent Dingley Ran Yanni Pomnici, when you go under 1 minute, you are more prone to making blunders. Right, very quick look here at this one. Alireza Firouzja representing France versus Wesley So, United States. Now, Alireza has 56 minutes and Wesley So 28. Okay. Rook had been played e3 over to c. That means that the Black Knight can't really move. Well, they can, but... Okay, boy, he did take his time. Okay, what is he going to do? Queen c2, rook e, or rook c, or what? I mean, I would love to play the white queen somewhere so that the other rook on a1 actually does something. So I suspect you want to move this queen. Where? Well, that's the question. Is it c2? Is it d2? Is it d3? Is it d3 and then b5? Just saying, guys, if you have different opinions, feel free to voice them. Text them, message them, guys. So queen d3, queen b5. Is that even playable? Maybe. You want to move the queen in principle. You want to move the queen to make space for the white rook on a1 to come and do something, actually. So definitely Ali Reza now is going to think about getting that queen somewhere. I don't think you want to move the knight. Is this? Nah, you got to move the queen first. You got to play some queen c2, queen d3 ideas. Also with the prospect of later on deploying the knight, maybe h4, this kind of ideas, if the queen is supporting the knight actively, being on c2 or d3. So if the queen is on d3 or c2, you might be supporting the knight. Or various ideas. I mean, that might be a thing. And also, the benefit of playing the queen is that the white rook on a1 will come into play and actually do something, attacking and stuff. Okay, let's go back to some other ideas. So that was Ali Reza. Oh, what? Look at this one. Anish Giri actually withdrawn the queen on b8. Queen b8. Dear, I mean, he spent like 10 minutes and then he moved queen b8. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Queen b8. Would he do that because he wants to defend a7? What? I mean, this feels a bit... It's a bit awkward. I can't... Okay, I don't think he's incredibly happy with that thing. He played it because what? He wanted to defend a7, who is being attacked by the bishop and by the queen, but oh boy, that just feels a bit unfulfilling, a bit unsatisfying, slightly unfulfilling. I don't know what to say about queen b8. The engine doesn't say it's a disaster by any means, but it just feels a bit unnatural and maybe like going backwards. And queen b8, Jesus, queen b8, what does he want to do? I mean, okay, all right, okay. I think it took me like 30 seconds, and then I realized there is an idea which is not to defend a7. Probably you've seen that even before me, guys. Queen to b8, I just didn't watch the whole thing here. But queen b8 actually targets the h2 pawn. Right. Now, obviously, white might be trying to do something. I don't think they're going to give the pawn, obviously. But that's the idea. I think that is the idea. Amongst others, I think mainly the queen on b8 wants to attack on h2 and generate some move from white, which might result in weakening the white's position a little bit. Don't forget that white hasn't played yet the bishop on f1. So black tries to keep up the pressure, to maintain the pressure by actively attacking white's position. So Anish Giri targets a pawn. White needs to spend time and resources thinking about how the heck do they defend the h2 pawn. So Anish actually keeps up the pressure. He's on 41 minutes. Now Krzysztof Duda goes slightly under 38 soon enough. So that's the idea. So maybe Anish thought that checking the king on the second column would have helped actually white to play something like bishop e2 with tempo, thus helping white to develop his pieces. So queen b8, nice little find. You would say it's a awkward looking move, which it is, I have to say, but actually very silently in an insidious manner, very disturbing and actually annoying, I think. H2 is not to being neglected. You can't ignore H2. Question is if Krzysztof can create a bigger threat, but I don't see how. I think he needs to take care of the H2 pawn right now. Oh boy. Very nice. Very, 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 very good games. Very good games happening today. Okay, Fabi and Bogdan Daniel, what do they do? They haven't played yet. Fabi still thinks about this one. What about Ian and Richard report? Oh, he committed the knight already. Okay, 95. He committed the knight. Well, that knight's going to stay there a very long time because you can't keep the white knight away. The white knight's going to stay there. And the white knight actually attacks on f7. That's quite a good aggressive move here being played by Ian. I don't know what Richard's going to do. Is he going to move the rook, giving up on the e file altogether, just for defensive purposes, or is he going to play? Or is he going to play rook e7? I don't know. That's to be seen, guys. That is to be seen. I don't know. When did I start the stream? I think I should be taking a short break. It's only one. Okay. Alright, guys. I think I'm going to pause it for the time being. And we'll be coming back, I guess, if not this evening, later on, probably tomorrow afternoon, if they play another round in this beautiful Super Bet Chess Classic. We'll be back then tomorrow until afternoon. You can check on YouTube. I've just made a very short briefing video about the last game, the 18th round in between Ian Nepomniachtchi and Dingley Ren. So you could check that one as well. And I'll see you guys shortly. So thanks very much for being here, boys and girls. And I shall see you on the social media, either Twitch, I guess, or YouTube. I don't know where you're actually watching it right now. But thank you very much for your presence, guys. And as we said, I will see you shortly then.